What's up, everybody? I hope y'all are having a wonderful day. I'm Anthony. On today's episode, I got something super special for y'all. We're going to be making oil out of pecans. Alright, now if you'll remember about, I don't know, probably 4 months ago, I did a video on sunflowers. And in that video, I said I was going to be making sunflower seed oil because that's one of the reasons why I grow sunflowers. I bought an oil press and I tried to use it on those sunflower seeds, and I'm just going to be completely honest with y'all. That was a massive fail. The reason being is because I used the wrong type of sunflower seeds. Those seeds are for snacking, not for oil. I needed the black seeds, not the white seeds. So when I fed them through, it basically jammed everything up and there was no oil to come out of there. The holes actually acted like a giant sponge, so I really didn't get any oil out of there at all. So the only way I could get oil from those seeds is to take the individual kernels out of the hull and do it that way. And I can tell you right now, I am not about to sit there and try to, take individual kernels out of these sunflowers. That ain't happening. So I had to think, I had to adapt, I had to figure out another way to use that. And I did peanuts, and peanuts worked, but I wanted to try something a little better, something I could easily find here in my local area, and that is going to be pecans. Now, for those of y'all that might have missed the original video, the reason why I was trying to get oil out of those sunflower seeds to begin with is because it is very hard to find a good fat in nature. Let's just be completely honest here. When it comes down to wild game, especially not like fed, wild corn, that kind of thing, wild game is very lean. You're really only going to find fat around the kidneys, maybe some of the other internal organs. It's very hard to find actual fat in nature. That's why it's so important when we get it. So when you get something that you can grow and grow your own fats, that is absolutely paramount to survival. So down here, down south, you're going to find fat in a few areas. Mostly it's going to be sunflower seeds, peanuts, any kind of nut, tree nut or legume. That's where you're going to find most of your fats. So you want to try to take advantage of that. Now, if I could, I would totally grow olives, because olives is probably one of my favorite fats. Olive oil is probably one of my favorite fats to use, period. But I also like avocado oil, neither of which will grow here without being inside a greenhouse. So I had to think on my feet, and what's the next best thing? Pecans. I live in an older area, South Carolina, and there are pecan trees literally everywhere. There are orchards, there are old home sites with pecan trees just going wild. So when it comes down to pecan season, you literally pull up to someone's house, knock on their door and say, "Hey, can I grab some pecans from your pecan tree?" And they'll be like, "Yep." I don't have to hit them with a mower. Go ahead. And that's just what I do. So I get buckets and buckets every single year, and I'm going to take advantage of it, and I'm going to show y'all how I'm going to press some oil from these things. Okay, so before we get started, the most important thing you're going to need is obviously going to be a oil press. This one I got off Amazon. I think it's called the Happy Buy oil press. Definitely made in China. There's no doubt about it. If you look at the instruction booklet, it's actually quite hilarious because they definitely did not get an American to proofread their English. Everything is very bad English, but hey, it works. It's one of those things. I don't want to spend a whole bunch of money, and it's actually very hard to find a oil press in a decent, even moderate price range for an American product. So you have to go through China, unfortunately. So if you have stipulations, if you have problems ordering things from China, you're probably not going to be able to get one of these. Let's just put it that way. But this thing's actually pretty easy to deal with. The main thing that you got to know about whenever you're doing this is just two different methods to pressing something. It's a cold press and a hot press. The cold press is just like it sounds. There's no heat involved. And the hot press is there's a heater on the back side of this. You just preheat the machine for about 10 minutes. This part gets really, really, really hot, and then it uses the heat to press out oil. And that's how you got to do with most stuff, especially peanuts that I've figured out, is you have to heat it up to get the oil flowing. So whenever you're doing anything, you load up all your material here. It drops down into this little corkscrew, and then it pushes the material this way. So the oil is going to come drop out of here, and then what's going to come out this side is going to be the meal, or whatever is left over. So I had like basically peanut meal coming out last time. Now I've never actually tried to do pecans. We're going to be doing a first here, but I mean it's a tree nut, it's oily nut, so there should be no reason why I wouldn't get any kind of oil out of here. But I just wanted to show you all the kind of basics of this machine so you know what to look for. Okay, so what we did was we went ahead and shelled some pecans, or pecans. I know that I'm probably annoying a lot of people who actually call it pecans, but I call them pecans. But what we did is we went ahead and shelled about 100 grams worth, or 3.5 ounces. The reason for doing this is because I wanted to make sure that we are as like level as possible for or as even as possible, because I want to see how much oil we actually get out of these nuts. So say I start off with 100 grams of pecans, and if I get, say, 60 grams of oil, then congratulations, these are 60% oil. And that's kind of why I wanted to go even here, just to see what I'm going to get. Now they say whenever you're doing any kind of nut, it's a really good idea to go ahead and roast them first, because the hotter you get them from the get-go, the easier that oil is going to flow. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. We're going to go ahead and roast them on the stovetop until the machine warms up. Now that we got a good roast on, kitchen smells amazing, we are going to put these into the food mill, because it's much easier to feed when this is chopped up. That's good enough. All right, so we've been preheating the machine for about 20 minutes now. Now we're going to feed in our pecans. Headphones warning. There's the oil. There's the meal. We're done. This is what's left over. This is the meal I was telling y'all about right there. Looks like little things of poo, don't it? Just really dried pieces of pecans. Perfect for if you want to add it to like a flour or something, maybe to make a bread or whatever. But this is the most important part right here. See how much oil we got. I want to make sure you keep your strainer on there, because there's going to be a lot of weird gunk that's going to come out as well. So, but check that out. That is all the oil. So I'm going to go ahead and strain this one more time, put it into a mason jar, and see exactly how much we got. All right, looks like we got 53 grams of oil, so a little over 50%. That's pretty good. All right, there you have it. That is the leftover. That is the pecan oil that came out of 100 grams or 3.5 ounces of pecans. 53 grams. That's a little over 50% oil ratio, which in my opinion is really freaking good, because peanuts weren't even this good. Peanut was like 30-something%. So pecans are definitely something that you're going to want to check out, especially if you live down south where you have pecan trees everywhere. But don't be afraid, if you live up north, there's also things like walnuts, hazelnuts, chestnuts that you could potentially use the same way. Any kind of tree nut, you can most likely get some form of oil from. So that's one of those things I really wanted to bring forth on this video, to show you that it is possible to get good fats from nature. Alright, so like I said earlier in the video, this product is called the Happy Buy Oil Press. It is one of those Chinese presses. I think they actually have multiple different vendors that call it different things, but it is the same press, and I'll put a link down to the one that I used from Amazon down in the description, just in case you want to check this out yourself. I think it's perfect for home production. Now, if you want to go kind of step everything up, you're going to have to spend a little bit more money, but this one was right around $200 something. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it wasn't too bad. And if you want to press your own oil, this is exactly how you're going to want to do that. But I'm going to go ahead and end the video there. If you learned something, please do me a humongous favor and give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and I'll catch you on the next one, okay? Bye.